and will be for at least the next two, and if it's likely they hold the Senate.
Call what?
Great working lunch. Look, I can tell you what I got out of Donald Trump today is this is a man of action. He is ready to get working. He wants to get it done for the country. It's really, really exciting.
Did you want to get it done with you?
Oh yeah. We're already talking about, you know, how to execute plans, how to get the transition working, how to make 2017 a success for the American people that just asked him to be president of the United States.
House Speaker Paul Ryan not worried about his speakership or any challenges, and also pretty excited about the way forward. We're back with the panel. Chuck, I mean, he was kind of coming out of his shoes there a little bit.
Yeah, I almost want to say, calm down a minute there. But what's impressive here, one has to recognize what an extraordinary moment this is. Basically, against all expectations, the Republicans are now the ruling party in the United States, and will be for at least the next two, and if it's likely they hold the Senate, the next four. And they have a clear field in front of them. They will soon also be in control of the federal judiciary. And on the other hand, the Democratic Party isn't just kind of in a little bit of trouble. It's, as one columnist today referred to it, as a pile of smoking rubble. They only have 15 governorships, obviously nothing in Washington. And, of course, they're engaged in mutual recriminations about the campaign. So the Republicans really have it all in their hands. And what we're going to see now is all the policy debates in America that have any consequence will be taking place within the Republican Party. And right now, of course, they're very unified and they're making a great show of it. But obviously, differences here and there will start to develop. And then, you know, we will see whether it's true that Donald Trump really has the leadership ability to keep that herd of cats all together.
I think Ryan's excitement is absolutely genuine. What the Republicans have is a situation of pent-up supply. These people have been stockpiling proposals, ideas, legislation now for years, and seeing everyone die in the Senate or die on Obama's desk. So now, and therefore, I'm not that worried about the disagreements between, say, Ryan and Obama over policy. There is so much out there that it will be very easy to start with those things on which they agree. For example, on immigration, they agree on border security. Ryan is he's not a fan of deportation, but of course, Donald Trump, he retreated from that. And he said, well, we'll deal with this later. So they can easily agree on the wall, all the elements of border security, defer amnesty or defer legalization, and then Trump will decide. He will decide which of the agenda items are going to be proposed and pursued at the beginning. Ryan is over there. It'll be Ryan proposing, Trump disposing, so I don't see where the conflict has to be. Later on, it'll start, but I don't see it starting now.
Jason, Chuck mentioned the Democrats kind of imploding. Howard Dean today tweeted out that Democrats need organization and focus on the young, need a 50-state strategy and tech rehab. I am in for chairman again. Howard Dean back in the saddle.
That's because he's a healer, Brett, and that's what the Democratic Party needs. So he is the go-to guy for that. He unifies people, as we know. No, they're in trouble. They know they're in trouble. Although I do think that there are going to be some areas where Donald Trump can work with Democrats, and Chuck Schumer in particular. They know each other because Donald Trump is a New Yorker. I think you have issues like carried interests with Wall Street, where it's very popular that Chuck Schumer will be willing to deal on that. And I think it's also this idea that Trump has taken entitlement reform off the table will bring a lot of Democrats to the table.
Not only that, but you have 25 Democratic senators up for re-election, 5 of them in red states. So something tells me they'll be willing to deal.
And Paul Ryan was also excited because for years, the Republican leadership has been telling the public and their constituents, it's not that we don't have the will or the ideas, it's that we don't have the numbers. And now he has the numbers, and I think he's very excited to get something done here. And the other thing is that Obama's always been more popular than his policies, and Republicans know that. I mean, the other amazing thing that Trump did was defeat a party with a president with an approval rating well above 50%.
Well, remember in the exit polls, the country, 46% said they wanted a more conservative leader, which was quite something. You're right, coming out of the 59% approval, though, with the polls, we don't even know if we can believe that. Is that really the case? I mean, he has that rock star kind of quality, but that is more of a celebrity quality, and I think the policy is right, especially with the Obamacare premiums. I just want to address a little bit of the staffing question here in the White House, because there are 4,000 positions that have to be filled, and from my time, a long time ago, 1987, 1988, in the Reagan administration, it's very interesting to see how people burrow into positions in the executive branch, OMB, Office of Management and Budget, all the departments, who sometimes are working against the interest of the chief executive and an agenda. So, don't let the foxes into the hen house.
That brings me up a question. There are some people that I've heard concerned about the head of the national security transition that is happening now for Donald Trump's administration, and that is former House Intelligence Committee Chairman Mike Rogers. Mike Rogers, you may all remember, was responsible for the Intelligence Committee bill on Benghazi, and that got a lot of attacks from conservatives, and including a prominent one, Trey Gowdy, and I asked him about it here on the show. The Democrats in the White House pointing to Mike Rogers' committee, Intel chairman, and saying that he essentially found different findings than you all found. Are you saying that his report was not good and that people shouldn't take him seriously?
Yes. Well, they can take him seriously if they want to, but two of his Intel committee members were on our Benghazi committee. They didn't sign his report; they signed ours. You don't issue a final definitive report without interviewing eyewitnesses. He didn't interview the eyewitnesses. He didn't even interview the guy that we found that told us who evacuated our folks from the annex.
So here's a candidate who ran in part on the Benghazi issue. You've got the 13 Hours guys that endorsed Donald Trump, and you've got a guy running your national security transition that comes under fire from conservatives over Benghazi.
Yeah, well, people aren't happy with that. The 13 Hours guys were infuriated, fuming after that report came out, because the report basically called their integrity into question, said that these heroes were doing it just to sell a book. And I think it's important to note that a lot of the committee members just stopped going to the hearings because they felt it was such a travesty with Mike Rogers. And Benghazi really did, really was a tent pole in what Trump was trying to say about Hillary
Does Trump
Clinton.
not know that House that?
Well, I think maybe in the beginning there were a lot of, they had all these national security guys who were writing letters against Trump, and so there weren't a lot of people who were maybe rushing at that point in time in the intel community to work with Trump. There was Chertoff, it was Tom Ridge, all these guys were against Trump. Mike Rogers comes along and said, "I'll do it." But there are a lot of people unhappy about that Mike Rogers deal.
We have a lot of days to talk about the transition. In fact, 71 more of them before the inauguration, but it's a big job. That is it with the panel, but we'll take a look at a jaw-dropping moment from the Cleveland Cavaliers' visit to the White House.